Hi everyone, welcome back. I've been waiting to film this video for months now. I have a collection of makeup here that I decluttered months ago. These were the maybe products from my makeup collection, Declutter. So if you watch those videos, at the end I had a pile of products that I didn't feel like I definitely wanted to keep, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to declutter them. They were the maybe products. I have those sitting here. We're going to do a full face of those products, and at the end I'll decide if I want to keep them or not. Like I said, I've had these sitting here forever to film this video, and I'm finally getting around to it. So I honestly kind of forgot the products I even had in here because they've been sitting here for so long waiting to film this video. So we will rediscover these products together, but that is what we are doing today. If you are new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. But let's just get into this makeup look. Okay, I've already done my SPF, so we can get right into the makeup. So I actually had a bunch of foundations and skin tints to choose from. So obviously I can only use one, but I decided to go with this one, and this is the Milk Hydro Grip Gel Tint. So I guess this came out about a year ago. I used it a few times, but I don't really have thoughts on it. I don't know. It's just kind of one that slipped through the cracks for me. So I decided to go with this one today. So this is the shade 2, and I don't remember a whole lot about this. I want to say it's on the thicker side and it's pretty glowy, but that's kind of all I remember about it. I have the shade 2. So we're going to use this today and see what we think. Ooh, it looks a little bit light, actually. Yeah, it definitely looks a little bit light. All right, we're going to have to use some bronzer most likely later on. All right, this is the 115 from BK Beauty, as always. Yeah, so I remember this now. This is like a thicker gel consistency, and you can kind of feel the grip and the tackiness as you're blending it. I kind of remember this now. All right, now that it's blended out, it doesn't look as light, but it is still like a tad light on me, but not as bad as I thought. So crazy. When I was going through, I have like a whole bin of products that I decluttered that I have been saving, and they've just been sitting over in the corner in my office. So when I went back through the basket, I was kind of honestly forgot about most of the products that were in there. So who knows? I may try some of this stuff and be like, why did I want to declutter this? I have no clue. We'll see. Yeah, so this is really tacky. Like, you can feel the grippiness as you blend it in. Looks like it's giving pretty decent coverage for a skin tint. Okay, I have a little bit more on the back of my hand here. I'm using it to see if I can build up the coverage anymore on this, but I just looked up close in my mirror, and okay, why does this look phenomenal? It looks so good. It looks glowy, but not as glowy as I was thinking. I don't know. It also seems to look really, really good over the SPF that I used, which is my new obsession right now, the Tatcha SPF that I picked up during the Sephora sale. Every time I use that stuff, I like it more and more. So there it is on my skin. Like, is it just me, or does that look really good? It looks glowy, but in a really pretty way. All right, guys, we're off to a very good start. I thought it was going to be too light at first, and I mean, it could maybe be like a little bit darker, just like a hair darker, but nothing crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, we're off to a good start with that one. Okay, for color corrector, I don't really have a great product to choose for this. The only one that I have in is this Makeup Forever. This is the HD Skin Corrector in the shade 0.1, which is obviously a very, 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 very light pink. I think when I bought this, I was mixing it with something, so we're gonna do that today because obviously this would not color correct anything. This is just gonna make my under eyes look gray if I tried to put that under my eyes. So I think what we're gonna do is take this corrector, which is Morphe, which this one is very, very orange and a little bit deep. I mean, I can definitely make it work, but it's definitely a little bit on the deep side. So I think what we're gonna do is mix these two together and see what we think. I remember really liking the texture of this Makeup Forever, but they didn't. The pink is obviously almost white, and then I don't remember if there was a darker shade of this. I forget, but shades like this are just not super useful for me unless I was using them to brighten or something. But let's see what we think about these two blended together. So I'm using the A506 to blend this in. This is really one of the only ways I would utilize this product is as like a mixer with something else because it's just so light. So there it is. Actually looks decent when you mix it. It just kind of tones down the orange of that Morphe corrector because it is supposed to be peach, but it definitely looks pretty orange on my skin. There's like no pink in that shade at all. Okay, so they mixed together pretty well. Like they're not like balling or pilling up at all, so that's positive. I don't know that I love the effect though of them mixed together. I mean, it definitely tones down the orange a little bit of that Morphe one, but I just don't know if I need that, you know? That color is so light, I just don't know that it's necessary. It doesn't look bad mixed, but I don't know how much I would use it if I hold on to it. We'll see. At the end, we'll decide. But let's go into concealer now. This is the Kulfi concealer in the shade Misty Maple. This is another product that I feel like I've just never gotten my thoughts together on it. I don't know why. I don't know if I just haven't used it enough, but I just don't have thoughts on it really. So we're gonna use some of this today and see what we think. I know a lot of people love the Kulfi concealer, so I kind of want to see what I think about it today. It's been quite a while since I've used it. So it does look like that shade is a good shade for me in Misty Maple. I've also tried this concealer, or I had it at one point in Ice Ice Baby, I think was the shade. And then I ended up getting this one because I thought it would be a better shade match for me, and it is. But I just don't know how I feel about this one. It's blending into that milk skin tint really nicely. I want to say that this is one that when I would use it before, I wished it had a little bit more coverage. And if it did, it might be one that like makes more of an impression on me. But I want to say every time I used it, I felt like I wanted just a little bit more coverage from it. And so it kind of left me just not remembering it at all. But that's really all I can remember about my thoughts on it. So it blended beautifully on top of that milk skin tint. I still feel like I want a little bit more coverage right here. So I'm gonna try adding just a little bit more and see what happens. But I do wanna say this is one of the reasons why I didn't use this one a ton. Let's see, I'm actually gonna blend this time with my concealer brush. Sometimes I do find when you wanna build coverage in certain areas, it's actually better to use a smaller brush in that area, a smaller, more dense brush. So I'm gonna do that here and see what I think. But yeah, I just feel like it's just not quite the coverage level that I typically like in concealer, but it does look nice on the skin, so I don't know. I mean, honestly, it looks really good. The skin tint and the concealer on my face. The under eye area, obviously I didn't put regular concealer there yet. We'll do that after bronzer and blush, but the concealer on my face looks good. Yeah, I would just say I wish it had a little bit more coverage, but it looks nice. It's laying nicely on my skin. But let's move into bronzer. So I have a powder bronzer and a cream bronzer. I think we're gonna go in with the cream today. This is the Versed Warm Dimension Bronzer Stick in the shade August. Now, I really like Versed makeup. I think they've been coming out with some really great products. This was the one that I was kind of uncertain about. I also have the blush from Versed in, I can't even remember what the shade is that I have, but it's really pretty. I just don't know about the bronzer. Okay, let's use this one today. This is a 116 from BK Beauty. But yeah, I love pretty much everything I've tried from Versed. This was just the one thing where I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I like it enough to keep it, but let's use it today and see what we think. It's very sheer. It definitely reminds me a lot of the Merit Bronze Balm, which makes sense because it's Versed, and Versed and Merit are both founded by Catherine Power. I'm not sure actually if it's Power or Powers, but they're both founded by her. So it makes sense that the products would be similar. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's not, like it doesn't do enough really. And I know it's balmy, so it's supposed to be more sheer, kind of like, you know, the Merit one like I was talking about, or the Mario Skin Enhancer. But even the Mario Skin Enhancer, I feel like I get more than I do from this. The Skin Enhancer is so creamy and balmy. This is creamy too, but it's a little bit more stiff. I don't know. I just don't know if I love it enough to where I like need to keep it. I do like the tone of it, I will say that. It's not an incredibly warm shade. It's pretty neutral, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on this one. So I don't know. We'll think about it. All right, let's move into blush. I kind of forgot that I put this in here, but this is the YSL Make Me Blush, the liquid blush in the shade 44, which I'm honestly kind of surprised I put this in here because I love the YSL powder blushes. Those are one of my favorites. I don't know. I don't remember why I put this in here, but let's try it again. So I'm going to get it off the back of my hand, and I'm going to use that same brush, which is a 116 from BK Beauty, and just tap this on. I want to say when I've used this formula before, it was kind of finicky, but I honestly don't remember. I love the color 44, so it's definitely not a color thing. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I don't know. This is why videos like this are helpful. And like I said, it's been so long since I decluttered these things that I honestly don't know. I don't remember majority of them. Or I remember them, but I don't remember why I was unsure of them. Okay, that looks really good. Really, really good. Why the heck was I gonna declutter that? I guess I have a lot of blushes in similar tones that kind of look like this, but I don't know. I'm not sure what I was thinking on that one, but I think that one is gonna stay because I don't see anything that I don't like. It looks really good. Really smooth. I love the color. I think that's gonna stay. All right, let's do some concealer under the eyes now. So we're gonna go back in with the Kulfi concealer. And I think I'm gonna let it kind of sit for a minute before we blend. Okay, let's blend that in. Trying to make sure. I think that Kulfi concealer is a good shade match for me. So it wasn't the shade that I didn't like on that. I don't know. I do kind of like the way this looks though. All right, let's move into some powder. So the one that I have in here is the Hourglass, the pressed airbrush powder in translucent light. I want to say this powder was one that sometimes I really liked it and sometimes I didn't. I felt like it looked a little bit dry on my skin. So let's test it out again. I'm going to use my trusty 79 brush from Sephora collection and start setting my face with this. I'm gonna do one side at a time so I can kind of see the difference. So that side has powder, this side does not. Definitely very, very mattifying for sure. Okay, yeah, definitely mattified for sure. I do think I could see where maybe it would look a little bit dry because I do think right now I just applied it and it doesn't look incredibly dry, but it looks like borderline kind of dry. So I'm thinking that's probably what I was thinking with this one. Let's go ahead and set the other side. I don't know, from a distance it looks really good, doesn't it? Yeah, from a distance it looks pretty good. I think that one might be okay. We might hang on to that. It does come with a little puff thing. I don't ever really use those, but it does come with it. I feel like this powder, do y'all remember when this came out? Everybody was talking about this. It was everywhere. And then now I don't see anyone talk about it. It's not in anyone's favorites videos. I don't remember seeing it in anyone's Sephora recommendations. It's so funny how that happens with makeup. All right, what else do we have here? So I have a powder blush, but I also have some highlighters. Oh, and I have a powder bronzer also. I don't want to apply too much because then I feel like it gets hard to see the individual products on your face, but I don't know. So the powder bronzer that I have is the Gucci. This one, I know why I have this in here. I have this in here because I find this to be really pigmented and just a little bit difficult sometimes to work with. The shade is what makes me not want to declutter it because it is a really beautiful kind of rosy, bronzy color. But let's use it again today and see what I think. Although, like I said, I'm using it on top of a cream bronzer, so sometimes that makes it kind of hard to decide if you like it or not. But this bronzer is also so pretty to look at. Like, I just love it. But I know in the past when I've tried to use it, I've sometimes felt like, oh, like that's, I don't know. It's not like a super easy formula in my opinion. I do think it's better probably to, well, I don't really have this area set though. I was gonna say this one is one you would want to set the area before you apply it just because it is more pigmented, and I feel like if you tried to use this on a really wet surface that it would, a lot of the pigment would really cling to it. And I feel like that's kind of what's happened to me with this one in the past. It's such a good like rosy color that I really like. I feel like I always end up hanging on to it, you know? I mean, I feel like it looks pretty good today. I wish y'all could talk to me through the camera and tell me what you think. Feel like it looks pretty good today. And I know I like the color of it, which is not always the case with bronzers, especially powder bronzers. So I don't know. That one might be okay. All right, I do have a powder blush. Now, this one I'm kind of thinking I shouldn't keep because these don't even exist anymore. This is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate blush in the shade number 1, Brazen Rose, which looks like this. It's a really, really light pink and peach mixed together. They're matte. These have been reformulated though. There's new Tom Ford powder blushes. I have not tried them. Okay, let's put a little bit of this on just to see. But yeah, I don't know if I should keep this since you can't even get it anymore. So I'm gonna kind of dip into both shades. It's been a long time since I've used this. And I'm just gonna apply that on top of everything else. I do want to say this color in the past when I've used it is kind of, it's so light that you can like barely notice it. It's very, very fair. And since we have that blush underneath, it's going to be kind of hard to see. But I wanted to use a little bit of it just in case I see something that I have forgotten about. Yeah, it's hard to tell because we have other products on. Probably shouldn't have applied all of these things, but you know. Now I do have two highlighters. I have a powder highlighter and a cream highlighter. I have the Fenty Light Diffusing Highlighter in Prosecco. So these are an extremely intense powder highlighter formula. But then I also have this from Westman Atelier. This is the Lit Up Highlighter Stick in the shade Nectar, which is a really pretty like peachy color, I think. I mean, you can't see much really, but that's it there. Yeah, it's got like some peachy shimmer in it. It's really pretty. I think I'm gonna use this one. I don't know that I want to use a powder highlighter. That one is really intense from what I remember. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this from Westman in Nectar. That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty. Which, it's Westman. Honestly, don't know how this ended up in here either. Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. That one I can already tell you it's gonna stay. All right, I filled in my brows. I didn't have any brow products in here, so I just did that quickly. Now let's move into eyes. I have a few eye products that I honestly completely forgot about. One of them is this NARS eyeshadow stick. This is the Total Seduction eyeshadow stick in the shade Don't Touch, which looks like kind of a cool toned grayish taupe. I feel like I had another one of these at one point, another shade of this, but I didn't see it in my basket. I wonder if I kept that one. I don't know. So I have that, but then I also have my OG Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. I completely forgot I put this in there. All right, let's start with a little bit of this shadow stick from NARS. I don't want a lot of this, so I'm gonna kind of go pretty light-handed with it. Yeah, so that's like a very soft kind of taupey color. I mean, it's pretty, I guess. It's a little bit gray looking maybe. All right, let's do the other side. I mean, it kind of looks like the type of shade that I typically like for like a one and done, but I don't know, something about it looks a little gray to me. It's not, it's kind of pulling a little too cool toned or something. I don't know. I don't know that I love the color. I'm gonna bring some on the lower lash line as well. Yeah, it looks a little gray for me. I guess we'll use a little bit of this palette also. Let me clean off my brush. Yeah, I don't remember when these were like everywhere. Everyone loved the Charlotte Tilbury quads. Now no one talks about them. I guess I'm gonna take a little bit of the pink matte up here and I'm gonna put that in the crease. Kind of pulls a little bit peachy, more so than pink. All right, now I'm gonna switch brushes and I'm gonna take the brown matte. This is kind of like a warm brown, I guess, like a reddish rosy brown. I honestly don't know if I like this color or not. I can't remember. But I'm just gonna add a little bit of this in this outer corner. I'm not sure, honestly, how well this eye look is going to go with the rest of the makeup, but oh well. This isn't really to do like a perfect makeup look. It's more just to decide if I want to keep these products or not, so that's okay. All right, so I kind of placed that there, and then I'm going to go back to my first brush that I used. And I didn't add any product or any shadow or anything. I'm just going around and kind of buffing over the edges just to blend everything together. Then I'm gonna take this kind of light champagne, using a small little brush to do this. But I'm gonna put this right in this inner part of the eye. I'm gonna kind of keep my eye open and go over this little fold that I have right here, just to kind of brighten that area a little bit. And then there's the topper in here. I guess since we're using the palette, we gotta use the topper too. So I took a little bit of it and I'm just kind of tapping it. And then I'm gonna take that little brush I just used for the champagne color, and I'm gonna take a little bit of both the matte shades that we use, so the pink and that like reddish brown, and I'm just gonna get a little bit of that on the lower lash line. Okay, I didn't have an eyeliner option, so let's see here. I just grabbed a really old eyeliner that I used to use and love all the time. This is also from Charlotte Tilbury, and unfortunately it is discontinued, but I loved it. I loved this liner so much. This is the eye powder pencil. If you've been around since I loved this, I used to use it in videos all the time. You've been around a really long time. So I'm gonna use this just to add a little bit of a wing, just a little baby wing. And then I'm gonna kind of go over it a little with that small little brush that we used for the lower lash line. I don't have a mascara that I was unsure about, so I'm just using one that I have out here. So this is the Urban Decay Tube Job Mascara. Mine is definitely on its last little bit of use here because I can tell it's starting to get kind of dry. Finally, for lips, I have a bunch of products here. So I had one lip liner, and believe it or not, it's my Tom Ford lip pencil in the shade Irresistible 103. I do remember this being a shade thing. I want to say the color, it's a little bit like an orangey brown, like a peachy orangey brown, which is not my favorite. This is a great formula though, so that was probably why I was unsure of it. But let's try this again. Looks pretty good there. This is a really nice liner formula. Feels like mine maybe has gotten a little bit dry. I don't know, the formula feels very stiff to me. I can't remember if it's always felt like that or not. The color looks pretty good right there though, so maybe we're gonna keep this. And then for lipstick, okay, I have two options here. I have Pillow Talk, just regular Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury, which is right there. Clearly, I was not into Pillow Talk this day when I decluttered this makeup. And then I also have this L'Oreal lipstick in the shade Worth It, which is kind of similar. This is Worth It. I guess that one's a little bit more pink. Pillow Talk is slightly like a rosy, almost peachy pink. This is more of a creamy satin formula. It's the Color Riche formula from L'Oreal. The Pillow Talk is the Matte Revolution, so it's very, very matte. Let's go in with Pillow Talk. I mean, that is a good color. I don't know that I love it with that lip liner. It's okay. But then I'm like, I have my Naughty Talk from Charlotte Tilbury, which I won't shut up about because that's my favorite nude lipstick of all time now. And then finally, we have a gloss. This is from Milk. This is the Odyssey Lip Oil Gloss in the shade Work Trip. Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty gloss. Yeah, these are very thin, definitely very oily feeling. Actually, that kind of brought that lip combo together. All right, so this is the finished makeup. Why does this look really good? Honestly, it looks really good. Really, really good. So I feel like this was definitely helpful. But let's go through the products and make our decisions. But honestly, this looks much better than I thought. So we're probably going to be keeping some of these things. So let's start with the Milk Hydro Grip Skin Tint. This I'm going to keep. I really like this. It gave really nice coverage. It's glowy, but I wouldn't say it's like overly greasy. It might be that it just pairs well with this Tatcha SPF underneath, because this is it gives a little bit of glow, but not anything crazy. So I don't know, maybe these two just paired really well together. But yeah, this is really nice. I'm kind of mad that it's been sitting over there and I could have been using it this whole time. I think the shade is a little bit light, especially with summer coming up. So I don't know, I might have to start mixing something bronzy in with it to keep using it. But overall, I think this looks really pretty. So that I am definitely going to keep. I do think I'm going to declutter the Makeup Forever HD Skin Corrector. Like I was saying earlier, something this light, I'm not going to use it on its own to correct because it's too light. I could use it to brighten on top of a corrector and a concealer, but the reality is I rarely do that. The only thing I can see myself maybe using this for is to mix like we did today with the Morphe concealer, but I just don't know that I need this to do that. So yeah, I feel like if I kept this, I just won't use it. It'll just sit again. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter that. I'm feeling a little bit torn about the Kulfi concealer because I like the shade. I like the way it sits on my skin. I like the way it sits on my under eyes. The coverage is not really what I like. And now that I'm looking at it up close, actually, it looks fine under the eyes, but it is kind of creasy looking. And I did bring that Hourglass powder under the eyes, but it's definitely settling out here where I have like tiny little fine lines. I feel like maybe I should declutter this. I like it, but I just, out of all my concealers that I own, am I gonna reach for this one over all of those? I don't think that I am. So I think I'm gonna declutter that. The Versed bronzer. As I was applying this, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I'm gonna declutter that. But then I was looking at it and I was like, that's such a good shade. And it's so natural looking. It's a good, like really light makeup day kind of product. I think I might keep this. I'm kind of surprised because I thought I was gonna let that go, but I think I might keep that. I'm gonna keep the YSL blush. Honestly, not sure why this was in the declutter pile because I love a liquid blush. I love this shade. It's pigmented without being too pigmented. It kind of reminds me of a less pigmented version of the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, and it applied beautifully. So yeah, that one is gonna stay. What else did we use? Nectar from Westman Atelier. Yeah, this is a beautiful cream highlighter. I'm definitely gonna keep that. That's gonna stay. The Hourglass powder. When I first applied it, I was like, yeah, that looks good. And it does, but I don't know. I do feel like it looks a little heavy in this area right here. And I also feel like I'm still kind of shiny looking. I thought earlier it had kind of mattified quite a bit. Like when I do that, it looks really good. And I thought it looked like this earlier, but then now I'm kind of shiny again. But then like when I add it, it looks really good. I'm gonna hang on to that. I think that one's okay. Powder bronzer, the Gucci. I'm gonna hang on to this too. Like I was saying earlier, my hang up with this has always been the pigment level. It's a little bit pigmented for a powder bronzer. It's matte. Typically matte bronzers have a little bit more pigment to them than like a baked, glowier formula. But the color is so good. This rosy color, I love. I also think this would be pretty as eyeshadow. I didn't use it as eyeshadow today, but I do kind of feel like it would be. And like I said, I feel like in order to use this, you do just want to be careful with what you put on or what you have underneath. Because I do feel like if you put this on something that's really wet, it would kind of cling because of this formula and the pigment level. So I think that's just something I would have to be kind of mindful of. But I love the color. I gotta keep that. Okay, then the Tom Ford blush. I'm gonna declutter this. Number one, you can't get this formula anymore. And number two, it's just okay. The shade is pretty, but it's super fair. It's not really something you would notice very much on the cheeks. And like I said, you can't get these now. So I think I'm gonna declutter that. I might try to like resell that one or something. The eye products. Okay, so we've got the NARS eyeshadow stick in the shade Don't Touch. This is nice, but I don't know that I love that color. It's a little too gray. I feel like I can make it work with like layering things on top, but I just don't know if I'm gonna reach for this over all of my other single shadows and shadow sticks that I love, you know? I think I can let that go. Now, I'm kind of torn on this Charlotte Tilbury palette because like this eye look, super pretty, but these shades are basically in my Ethereal Eyes palette. Let me actually pull that out and let's look at it. Okay, so we've got Ethereal Eyes here, and then we've got the Charlotte Quad. So obviously the pinks in here, so the matte pink and this matte pink, very similar. This like rosier brown, this one right here, I was thinking is the same as one of these other browns, but I think this is more warm in the Mario palette, and that one is more warm. This Charlotte color is more of like a rosy brown, which is really unique. So that's it there on my finger. This is the Charlotte brown, and then these are the two Mario browns. These two, I guess you could say, are similar in terms of the depth, but this one is definitely like a warmer reddish kind of color. This one is more of like a pinky brown. So yeah, they're definitely not the same. The pinks, I think, are probably pretty similar. Okay, so the Mario is here, the Pillow Talk is here. So Pillow Talk is definitely more pink. This one is more of like a muted, like a soft rosy pink. So that makes sense, because when I was applying the Pillow Talk shade, I was saying it turned like kind of peachy looking on my eyes more so than pink, which I definitely prefer this type of shade, not necessarily this pink on the eyes for me. But I love that rosy brown. I feel like I need to keep this. It's Pillow Talk. That's such an iconic thing in makeup, and it reminds me of when I was first getting into my YouTube channel and I was discovering Charlotte Tilbury, and I just loved it. I loved her products. And I can remember buying this and just being so excited about it. So I might hold on to this for right now. I know, I'm a sucker, but you know, it gives me all the good feels. And okay, finally the lip. I'm shocked by the lip, gotta be honest. The lip liner, I don't love it in the swatch, but then when I put it on my lips, I was like, I don't mind it on my lips. It looked kind of peachy to me on my hand, but then it looks really nice on my lips. So I'm gonna keep that. And then this gloss from Milk, this is so pretty. This is such a good pink. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, I think it's Pistachio by Tower 28, that pink gloss. That's what this reminds me of. It also smells really good. It smells kind of like really nice, soft vanilla, kind of like the Maybelline Lifter glosses. And I feel like this is a good gloss that kind of goes with everything, especially with shades that I typically go for. So I'm going to hang on to that. And then you know what? Pillow Talk. I'm kind of shocked that I put this in there as a no. Yeah, I'm going to keep Pillow Talk. I like this lip combo. So honestly, this was pretty successful because we are only decluttering 4 products. These 4. Everything else I'm going to keep. So I'm actually really happy that I did this, because sometimes you just need to see things on your face to make a decision, like an informed decision. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I like doing these. I'm definitely going to continue to do them when I do declutters in the future, because I think it's helpful and I feel much better about this group of products now. And I also think I might have enough to do another one of these videos, because I still have some products left in the basket. I don't know that I have enough in every category, but we could maybe fill in with some other things if I don't have a product in every category. So if you like this style of video, let me know and I can do another one with the rest of the products. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I will list and link all the products for you, as always, in the description box and on the screen in YouTube shopping as well. If you do shop through my links, thank you so much. I do make a commission that supports me and this channel, so thank you so much for that. And if you're new, I hope you'll stick around, subscribe, and if you're not already, make sure to follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.